Life rewards those who rise after every fall, not just once, but every time. So rise and keep rising. Let your strength be louder than your excuses. Let your persistence be stronger than your pain. Let your courage outlive every setback, because success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. The courage to continue, ladies and gentlemen, success. How often we chase it and how quickly we mistake it as the final reward. But let me tell you, success is not a conclusion. It is merely a checkpoint. You may build a business, win an award, reach a goal, only to find that life keeps demanding more. The climb never ends. The summit only reveals another peak. And what of failure? Failure, the word most feared. But let me say this to you boldly. Failure is never the end unless you accept it as such. Failure is nothing but life's whisper, urging you to adjust your sails, change your course, grow your mind. The greatest achievers of all time wore their failures like armor, not shame. You see, it is not success that defines you, nor failure that destroys you. It is the courage to continue, day after day, storm after storm, that separates the weak from the powerful. Courage is the invisible force that lifts you when the world has knocked you down. It is the voice within that says, try again, rise again, push forward. Do not let applause fool you into comfort. Do not let defeat push you into retreat, because those who endure, those who persist, those who continue, they are the true giants among men. They do not wait for permission. They do not need perfect conditions. They act with courage, not comfort. You may fall 7 times, but the 8th time must be your rise. You may be told to no 100 times, but the 101st must be your breakthrough. If you keep going, nothing can stop you. If you stop, nothing can help you. So remember this, you are not finished when you failed. You are finished when you quit. Keep going, keep building, keep believing, because success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Would you like this formatted for video narration or turned into a visual script with timestamps and keywords? Success is a temporary station, not a destination. Achievements are milestones, not endpoints. Resting on them is the enemy of future growth. There is a deceptive illusion that once success is achieved, the journey ends. People dream of reaching the top of the mountain, believing that the moment they arrive, the struggle, the effort, and the drive will no longer be necessary. But this belief is not only false, it is dangerous. Because the moment you begin to view success as a final destination, you begin the slow descent into complacency. You stop growing, you stop reaching, and in that stillness, everything you built begins to wither. Life does not reward those who stop moving. It rewards those who evolve. Success is meant to be celebrated, but not clung to. It is a signpost that you are on the right. When people allow themselves to believe they've made it, they start to protect what they have instead of expanding what they can become. They shift from building to preserving. And that shift, subtle as it may seem, is the silent thief of progress. Look at every person who ever achieved greatness, and you will find that they treated success not as a conclusion, but as a foundation. They understood that the reward for one victory is not rest, but responsibility. The moment you celebrate a win is the moment you must ask yourself, what's next? Yourself. Because true winners know that the climb never ends. There's always a higher level of discipline, knowledge, vision, and impact to be reached. They don't sit on their thrones. They build higher towers. What causes so many to fall after they rise is the false belief that success makes them untouchable. But in truth, success makes you more vulnerable. It exposes you to more eyes, more expectations, and often more distractions. It invites comfort, and comfort is the silent killer of greatness. When you get too comfortable, you stop doing the things that brought you success in the first place. You forget the hunger, you forget the drive, you forget the long nights, the early mornings, the sacrifices. And when you forget the process, you begin to lose the edge that made success possible. This is why the most powerful minds never stop learning. They never stop pushing. They never stop questioning how far they can go. They do not measure their worth by their last success. Instead, they measure it by their ability to grow beyond it. Every goal they achieve becomes the stepping stone to a greater goal. Every mountain they conquer reveals the next one in the distance. This is how greatness is built, not in moments of victory, but in the discipline that follows them. You must understand that your previous accomplishments do not entitle you to future rewards. Success is rented, not owned, and the rent is due every single day. Each day you wake up, the world asks, what are you willing to do today to become better than you were yesterday? If you cannot answer that question with action, then your past success becomes irrelevant. The world will move forward with or without you. The achievers who stand the test of time are those who respect success but are never owned by it. They do not become trapped in the memory of what they did once. They focus instead on what they are becoming now. They know that the only true security lies in growth, constant, intentional growth. They live by the principle that yesterday's best is today's starting point. And with this mindset, they keep rising, not because they are never satisfied, but because they are always evolving. There is a reason so many once successful individuals fade into irrelevance. It is not because they lost their talent. It is not because they lack resources. It is because they stopped doing what once made them unstoppable. They assumed success was a plateau they could rest on forever. But success is a moving target. It shifts with time, with competition, with innovation, and with personal evolution. If you are not moving with it, you are falling behind it. The discipline that creates success must be sustained long after the celebration is over. It is easy to be focused when you're hungry, but true greatness is measured by how focused you remain once you are full. Can you keep pushing when the applause has faded? Can you stay disciplined when the pressure is gone? Can you still train your mind when comfort surrounds you? These are the questions that separate the legends from the forgotten. Do not idolize past victories. They are not proof of future greatness unless you build upon them. Fuel, not as furniture. Do not sit in your success. Stand on it. Use it as a higher vantage point to see what more you can do, what more you can give, what more you can become. Success should inspire you to stretch further, not settle down. There will be moments when you feel the temptation to relax after a win, the temptation to say, I've done enough. But that is the exact moment where your growth either begins to slow or accelerates beyond your imagination. The choice is yours. Will you be remembered as someone who once succeeded or as someone who never stopped rising? Growth is not a one-time decision. It is a daily commitment. Success must never be your excuse to pause. It must be your reason to go harder. Because the world does not remember those who rested on their past. It remembers those who kept building long after the applause. Success should sharpen your vision, not blur it. It should deepen your hunger, not satisfy. It should awaken your spirit, not put it to sleep. Let it remind you that you are capable of more, not that you've done enough. Because the moment you stop chasing growth is the moment you start preparing for decline. Keep moving. Keep building. Let your success be proof that you're ready for more. Because when you see success as a temporary station rather than the final stop, you never stop becoming who you were truly meant to be. Absolutely. Here's the next part of the speech, continuing in the style you're using. Powerful, reflective, and rooted in personal growth philosophy, fire failure is feedback, not defeat failure. The word alone strikes fear in the hearts of most. But those who achieve anything of lasting value do not run from failure. They run toward it, study it, and extract every ounce of wisdom it contains. Because failure is not your enemy. It is your instructor. It does not appear in your life to punish. It arrives to reveal something you needed to learn, something you missed, something you must refine before you rise. Every failure carries within it the seed of a greater lesson. But you must be willing to plant that seed, nurture it, and allow it to grow. Most people do not fail because they lack talent or opportunity. They fail because they fear failure itself. And in that fear, they refuse to look deeper. They run from the pain rather than study the pattern. The truth is this: failure is honest. It doesn't lie. It doesn't flatter. It tells you exactly where you went wrong if you have the humility to listen. Those who rise from failure are those who ask the hard questions. Why did this happen? What did I ignore? What must I change? What did this teach me that success never could? You see, success often makes us blind. It hides our weaknesses behind applause, but failure shines a light on every crack in our foundation. It reveals the truth, and only when you face that truth can you begin to rebuild, stronger, sharper, smarter than before. Those who fear failure build nothing. They talk, but they do not act. They dream, but they do not dare, because in their mind, falling is the end. but to the achiever, to the one who truly understands life. Falling is part of the rise. You cannot grow without breaking. You cannot win without risk. And you cannot become powerful if you avoid the very lessons that power is built upon. You must train your mind to see failure as feedback, not as evidence that you're not good enough, but as a signpost saying, not this way. Try again, better, wise. Every time you fall and get back up, your character deepens, your courage strengthens, your mind sharpens. And most importantly, your belief in yourself becomes unshakable. Understand this. Failure only becomes defeat when you stop learning, when you stop trying, when you decide the pain is greater than the reward. But if you choose to analyze, to reflect, to adapt, then failure becomes fuel. It becomes focus. It becomes fire. Oh, so the next time you fall, and you will, don't curse it, don't bury it, and hold it in your hands, turn it over, and ask it what it came to teach you. Because that lesson, if you learn it well, will be the very thing that propels you to level success could never have taught you on its own. Remember, those who analyze failure rise. Those who fear it fall. And life will always favor the one who learns faster than the one who pretends they never lose. Would you like me to continue with the next point? Persistence transforms ordinary into extraordinary. Collision persistence transforms ordinary into extraordinary persistence. The quiet force behind every triumph is not glamorous. It doesn't grab headlines. It doesn't beg for attention. But make no mistake, it is the trait that separates the common man from the great. Talent without persistence is wasted. Intelligence without persistence is aimless. Vision without persistence is just a fantasy. Because in this life, you will be tested, you will be challenged. And only those who continue, when the easy path is to quit, will ever know what true greatness feels like. Every person who ever did something remarkable had 100 reasons to stop. They faced rejection, criticism, delays, doubt, even from the people closest to them. But they had something most never developed, the will to keep going when all seemed lost. You must understand, persistence is not just effort. It is identity. It's the decision that no matter how many doors close, no matter how long it takes, no matter how tired you are, you will not retreat. It is the fire that says, I may bend, but I will never break. I may fall, but I will never stay down. You see, ordinary people are not born different from the extraordinary. They just give up earlier. They listen to the voice of fatigue, of fear, of frustration, and they stop. But the extraordinary, they hear the same voice and keep walking anyway. Persistence is the moment after everyone else has gone home and you're still at the desk. It's waking up on the days you feel nothing but defeat and still moving forward. It's getting one more rejection and saying, I'll try. It's losing and still believing. And here's the truth most will never tell you. The world does not belong to the talented. It belongs to the relentless, those who refuse to surrender, those who are willing to bleed for their vision, those who do not wait for motivation. They act from discipline. They act from decision. They act because they have burned the boats and there is no way back. That kind of persistence is rare, but it is available to anyone. You don't need a perfect plan. You need an unbreakable spirit. The kind of spirit that rises after every fall and whispers, let's try again. Because persistence is how ordinary becomes extraordinary. It's how a bricklayer becomes a builder. How a dropout becomes a leader, how a dreamer becomes a legend. So the next time you feel the pull to stop, remember, that very moment may be the test before your breakthrough. One more push, one more step, one more hour, and everything could change. Keep going, because the world doesn't reward the one who started fastest. It rewards the one who refused to stop. Would you like me to continue with the next point? A fear of judgment is a dream killer? Certainly. Here is the next powerful segment of your speech in the same bold, disciplined, and inspiring style. A fear of judgment is a dream killer. There is no prison more suffocating than the fear of what others might think. Far too many dreams have died at the hands of someone else's opinion. Not because the dream was impossible, not because the dreamer lacked ability, but because they gave their power away to the judgment of others. Let me tell you this plainly. You cannot build a meaningful life with your eyes fixed on the crowd. You must learn this early. People will talk whether you rise or fall. If you succeed, they'll say you're lucky. If you fail, they'll say they told you so. If you change, they'll ask who you think you are. If you stay the same, they'll call you stagnant. You cannot win a game where the rules are written by people who are too afraid to play it themselves. The courage to continue must come from your own convictions, not from applause, not from validation, not from likes or followers. True courage is rooted deep in the soil, self-belief. And that kind of belief does not sway in the winds of public opinion. You see, those who live for approval never live a vow. They walk the safe road. They shrink their voice. They abandon their vision, not because they weren't capable, but because they allowed someone else's comfort to define their courage. But those who lead, those who inspire, those who change the world, they are not driven by consensus. They are driven by clarity, by inner fire, by truth. They know who they are, and they do not beg the world for permission to become it. Here is the truth. You were not born to blend in. You were born to build, to shape, to rise. And the higher you go, the louder the noise will become. But if you let that noise direct you, it will drown you. You must turn down the volume of the world and turn up the voice within. The opinion that matters most is the one you hold of yourself. Because when you know what you stand for, when you know why you keep going, when your purpose burns brighter than your fear, no criticism, no doubt, no rejection can break you. So let them talk. Let them misunderstand you. Let them laugh out or ignore. But you keep building. You keep moving. You keep becoming. Because the real tragedy is not being judged. It's judging yourself unworthy because someone else couldn't see your vision. The world belongs to those who dare, not to those who ask for permission. Would you like me to continue with the next point? Each step forward is a victory over self-doubt. Absolutely. Here's the next section of your speech, written in the same powerful, disciplined, and purpose-driven style. Each step forward is a victory over self-doubt every time you take a step forward. Even when fear grips your chest, even when doubt whispers in your ear, you win. Not against the world, but against something far greater. The war within. You see, the real battle is not external. It's not the economy, the critics, or the competition. The true enemy lies in the quiet corners of your own mind. That voice that says, who do you think you are, or you're not ready? What if you fail? That voice has stolen more dreams than failure ever could. But understand this, courage is not the absence of fear. It is action despite fear. It is stepping forward while your knees tremble. It is speaking up while your voice shakes. It is pressing on when every part of you wants to turn back. That is what real strength looks like. Not perfection, but persistence in the face of uncertainty. Self-doubt is normal. Everyone feels it. But what you do with it, that's what determines your destiny. Do you feed it or do you fight it? Do you allow it to stop you or do you use it as proof that you're on the edge of growth? The great one, the ones who build legacies, they don't move because they're fearless. They move because their purpose is louder than their fear. They know that fear is simply a signal, not to stop, but to wake up, to sharpen your mind, to rise to the moment, to become more. Every single time you act in spite of fear, you strengthen your identity. You reinforce the belief that you are not a prisoner of your emotions. You are the master of them. You teach yourself that discomfort is temporary, but growth is permanent. And step by step, moment by moment, you transform that self-doubt into unshakable confidence and by waiting for it to disappear, by walking through it until it fades. You must choose courage even when fear screams, because the world rewards those who dare to move, not those who wait for certainty. Take the step, make the call, show up again, even when it hurts, even when you're scared, even when you're scared, even when your hands shake and your heart pounds. Every time you do, you cast a vote for the person you are becoming. And one day you will look back and realize you didn't become strong by avoiding fear. You became strong because you walked through it, one brave step at a time. Would you like me to continue with the final point? You are never finished until you say you are. You are never finished until you say you are. Defeat is never final unless you declare it to be. Understand this truth. No fall, no loss, no failure has the power to finish you unless you surrender the pen and stop writing your story. Life doesn't hand out endings. You choose them. You are never finished until you say you are. You may be broken, but you are not done. You may be tired, but you are not finished. You may have lost battles, but the war is still yours to win. To win. Life rewards those who rise after every fall, not those who never stumble, those who get up again and again and again. The greatest force on earth is the human spirit that refuses to stay down. So many quit just before the turning point. They walk away not because they couldn't make it, but because they believed they couldn't. They gave up 5 minutes too soon. One more call, one more step, one more try, and everything might have shifted. But the few who keep going, they are the ones the world cannot ignore. Ones the world cannot ignore. You must become relentless in the face of setback. You must rise every time life knocks you down, not because it's easy, but because there is no other option for those who want to live with purpose, with fire, with power. No matter how dark it gets, no matter how many doors close, no matter how many people turn their backs on you, if you keep going, you will reach a place they told you was impossible. Because resilience is not a gift, it's a decision to continue, a decision to believe, a decision to declare, this is not how my story ends. Let them doubt you. Let them doubt you. Let failure meet you. But never let it stop you. Because the world can take everything from you except your will to rise. And if you still have that, then you are not done. So rise and keep rising, because you are never finished until you say you are.